Good afternoon. I am Brandon Barber, and this is my informative speech on archery. I believe everyone in this room has seen archery methods being used, whether in a classroom, a movie, or personally used archery equipment. I could imagine not everyone knows the importance of archery hunting beginning during the Stone Age to modern day times. Have you ever wondered what type of bow and arrow was used millions of years ago compared to what it looks like now? How much have the traditions of archery hunting changed over time? I'm first going to tell you about what archery is and what it looks like, and how it's put to use in real situations, and the importance of archery hunting, and lastly, the traditions of archery hunting beginning all the way in the Stone Age. Let me first tell you about what archery equipment looks like. A traditional bow has a long wooden or aluminum riser with two limbs. In addition, there's a string attached between both limbs. As said in Archery 360's article, traditional archery is simple. Typically, you would use long arrows with sharp points. In order to create velocity on the arrow, the archer must pull the string back far enough to create pressure against the string. There's nothing used to pull the strings back except your fingers. Once you're drawn back, you look down the arrow at your target and release. A modern-day compound bow has either a carbon fiber or aluminum riser and limbs. The limbs have a CAM system in order to create heavy velocity on the arrow. Typically, you have a rest for your arrow, a bow sight, arrow quiver, and stabilizer. In order to pull the string back on a compound bow, you need a release. The release goes around your wrist and assists in the ease of pulling the string back. Once at full draw, you look through your peep sight into the string, intended for accuracy while looking at your bow sight to the target. Once settled in on the target, use the release to trigger the string to go, grazing the arrow through its arrow rest into the target. Now I'm going to share how archery equipment is put to use in the field and in target practice. First of all, there's two main practices of archery, target practice and actual hunting. All archery users all target practice, but some actually do it competitively as well. I'll cover the basics of archery hunting first, and specific elk hunting. You have to prepare all year for archery hunting. It takes time, patience, and confidence. Make sure your bow is dialed in, and once you're in the field, the fun can begin. In order to take an animal with your bow, you have to be within 60 yards ethically for a clean kill shot. Animals spend their entire life trying to stay alive from predators. Simply put, they have an extreme sense of when they're in danger. In order to close that distance, there's a few methods one can try. Spot and stalk methods, just as it sounds like a cougar would do to an animal. Ambushing them, such as finding a pattern that elk take, then hide somewhere on their path to get close when they come by. One last method is calling, mimicking the sounds that elk make to create a false situation. In Peer Hunting's article, Elk Vocalizations, they cover elk use vocalizations to locate each other and also to notify other elk of danger. This will in turn make any close elk curious what the situation is. Still, none of these methods always work. I've personally been hunting 6 years and have yet to take an elk with my compound bow. On the other hand, target archery is much different. It involves an individual or a group trying to be the most accurate, oftentimes for a prize or medal. It's still very respectable and difficult. They're shooting quarter-sized targets from up to 30 yards away, hitting it every single time. I'd like to take a quick moment to recognize the importance of archery, which would also lead to my next section, the traditions as a whole. Archery has been used for many years as a method to provide meat for your family and for survival. Before there were grocery stores, everyone had to make or get their own food. Archery was a key method in order to achieve that. Now, I fully understand the argument that it's easier to buy meat from your grocery store or even use a rifle to take animals down in current day life. That's simply not what it's about. It's about reliving the past and being able to do what people used to have to do in order to live. In the article Archery Pied, they state it takes years of training to master the art of archery, as archery is a sophisticated and skillful pursuit. It's a sense of respect to our ancestors thousands of years ago. Not only that, but it gives the amazing animals we chase a chance to live another day. It's a balance of life. Lastly, I'd like to touch on the start of it all. In the article, The Stone Age Hunters Bow and Arrow, they cover an indispensable tool used by the Stone Age hunters was the bow and arrow. It was a main source for them to get their food. It's astonishing to me that this many years later, we're still using the same methods to feed our families. If I could go back in time just to see their version of hunting, I know it would change my life. I also think they could come here today and see how we use bow and arrows now, it would change theirs. It's amazing how things can change so much over history, yet stay so similar. Thank you.